Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Debbie Lee here with the White Samurai Investment Group, and today we will be diving into wealth, identity and lifestyle. So the three key topics that we will be covering today are the rich versus the middle class versus the broke, the broke mindset, how wealthy people view time, and why wealthy people avoid status purchases. So over this past year at White Samurai, I've seen firsthand how the habits, perspectives, and decisions of people shape their financial outcomes. And the difference between those who stay trapped in the cycles of money, stress, and those who build lasting wealth is not all about income. During my time here, I've noticed patterns repeating over and over again. People with similar salaries can experience completely different financial realities depending on how they think about money, time, and lifestyle choices. I've met people making six figures who still live paycheck to paycheck because their mindset keeps chasing instant gratification or societal approval. On the other hand, I've seen people with much lower earnings begin to build generational wealth because they operate with a wealth-focused mindset that prioritizes strategic decisions, long-term planning, and consistent habits. So what is really eye-opening about how identity perception drive What's really eye-opening is how identity and perception drive decisions. The wealthy view money as a tool to create freedom, opportunity, and leverage. The middle-class individuals tend to view money as security, something to maintain a steady life. And those with a broke mindset often see money as a way to impress others or satisfy immediate wants. And over time, these perspectives compound. The rich continue to grow wealth, the middle class maintains, and the broke often fall further behind. Another key insight that I've noticed is wealth is not just about earning more, it's about thinking differently. The quote unquote rich people structure their lives around systems and habits and decisions that are invisible to most people. They focus on time as a resource, evaluate every purchase in terms of return and avoid status, spending that doesn't serve a purpose. The decisions they make daily, sometimes small, sometimes invisible, create massive long-term results. By the end of this video, you will understand how mindset shapes identity, how time and lifestyle choices contribute to compounding financial freedom, and how avoiding certain common traps can dramatically accelerate your progress. So my goal is to give you a practical framework for aligning your mindset with habits and strategies that build lasting wealth. You will leave with insights that can help you act differently, think differently, and ultimately begin creating a financial life that works for you, not against you. So, before we get into it, I will just tell you a little story. And this story really illustrates the power of mindset in wealth building. So when I first started at White Samurai, I met three individuals who had very different approaches to money, time, and lifestyle. I will call them Alex, Jordan, and Sam. They're all very common names, and I have used Alex, the name, before, but different Alex from before. So Alex had a broke mindset. Every paycheck was spent quickly on flashy gadgets and designer clothes and things. Nights out with friends, he would pay for all of it, and other purchases that signaled success to others. But when I asked Alex about saving or investing, the response was always, oh, I'll start next month, or I don't make enough yet. Alex's identity was wrapped up in consumption. Even though they earned very well, their wealth never grew because they didn't think in terms of long-term financial planning. Success was measured by what others could see, not tangible growth in assets. Jordan had a middle-class mindset. Jordan had worked hard and they had a stable job and lived comfortably. They saved money and avoided debt, but the approach was largely defensive. So they focused on protecting what they already had rather than creating new wealth. Jordan avoided risk and innovation, believing that steady work and a predictable life would eventually lead to financial security. And while Jordan did accumulate some savings, the wealth never truly scaled because the opportunities for growth were consistently deferred due to fear or hesitation. And then there was Sam, who embodied a wealth-focused mindset. Sam's income was not dramatically higher than Alex or Jordan's initially, but the approach was completely different. Sam carefully analyzed every decision, avoided unnecessary spending, prioritized investments over consumption. Sam understood the value of time as leverage, hiring help when needed, automatically processing systems, focusing energy on activities that produced higher return. Sam also avoided status purchases, understanding that these items drained their capital without generating wealth. So I watched all three of these people over the course of this past year, and Alex continued to cycle through paycheck to paycheck. Jordan maintained a steady stability, but Sam began to see real wealth compound in noticeable ways. The differences weren't just financial, they affected confidence and opportunities and relationships and future choices. And then reflecting on my own upbringing, coming from a working class background, I also realized that I had internalized many broke or middle class habits without even knowing it. But seeing Sam's approach helped me understand a vital lesson. Wealth is first and foremost a mindset, then a lifestyle, and only after that, a number in your bank account. Small daily choices, consistent habits, and focusing on long-term strategy create compounding advantages that can't be matched by income alone. So this story is why I created this channel, to give people access to the insights, the habits, and the mindset shifts that allow everyday individuals to start building wealth, even from nothing. By understanding these patterns, you can start to see your own choices differently, act intentionally, and Position yourself for financial freedom in a way that works with the system instead of against it. So this leads us to topic number 1. Rich versus middle class versus broke mindset. Rich middle class versus broke mindset. Rich versus middle class versus broke mindset. So, the first critical factor in wealth building is understanding how mindset directly influence financial outcomes. So let's explore the 3 most common mindsets: broke, middle class, and rich. The broke mindset are individuals that prioritize instant gratification over long-term planning. They often tie their self-worth to possessions, appearances, or the approval of everyone else around them. Spending is frequently driven by emotion rather than strategy. These individuals may make decent money, but poor decisions around budgeting and investing and saving, keeping them trapped in cycles of debt and also stress. So, education about finance or investing is often avoided, dismissed, or seen as complicated. Risk is feared, but consumption is unchecked. Failure is internalized personally rather than seen as a learning opportunity or data point. So, the middle class mindset. This is rooted in security and predictability. People save, budget, and avoid debt, but often do so in ways that are defensive rather than generative. So income is traded directly for lifestyle stability, a good job, a mortgage, retirement planning. While this mindset is safer than a broke mindset, it often limits wealth building potential. So investment opportunities are approached cautiously, and entrepreneurial ventures may be avoided. So time is still largely spent exchanging hours for money rather than leveraging it for scalable growth. Middle-class individuals may accumulate wealth slowly, but the trajectory is limited relative to those with a rich mindset. So, a rich mindset focuses on long-term thinking, value creation, and strategic leverage. Wealthy individuals understand that time, knowledge, and capital are all tools to generate compounding returns. So decisions are measured not just by immediate satisfaction, but by potential growth, opportunity creation, and risk-adjusted reward. The status items are deprioritized unless they serve a function, and delayed gratification is embraced as a tool for wealth accumulation. So, rich-minded individuals structure their daily lives around activities that multiply outcomes, including learning, networking, investing, and delegating tasks that don't require unique skills. The key takeaway is that mindset drives every financial and lifestyle decision. Two people may seem like they earn identical salaries, but their trajectory diverges completely based on how they think, how they act, and how they prioritize. So this is why financial literacy alone isn't enough. Without aligning habits about where identity and wealth building principles, money will always be transient. So this brings us to topic number 2. How wealthy people view time. Wealthy peeps view time. It's a bit crooked. How wealthy people view time. So, time is the most valuable resource that we all have. We all have time. Arguably more valuable than money, because unlike money, once time is gone, you cannot get it back. This is one of the most consistent lessons that I have observed during this last year at White Samurai. Wealthy people think about time very differently than middle class people or broke individuals. And this difference is a huge part as to why their wealth compounds over years and decades. For someone with a rich mindset, time is treated as leverage. Every decision, every activity, every hour is spent measured against its potential impact on growth, income, knowledge, or influence. Wealthy people constantly ask themselves, what can I do that will give me the highest return of my time? This is not a casual question. It's a filtered approach to nearly everything they do. Meetings that waste time are declined, tasks that could be delegated are delegated, and low value entertainment is minimized. Emphasis on that last part. So, contrasting to a middle class mindset where time is often exchanged directly for money. This classic example is the 9-to-5 job. Many middle class people spend decades exchanging hours for dollars, often sacrificing sleep, personal development, and other opportunities for growth. They may view long hours as hard work, and they may see it as a badge of honor without recognizing that hours spent on low leverage activities don't multiply outcomes. So, in other words, time is treated linearly rather than exponentially. People with a broke mindset may view time even less strategically. Time is often spent on immediate gratification, distractions, or activities that feel good in the moment but don't provide long-term benefit. Social media scrolling, binge watching, excessive partying, shopping for instant pleasure can consume hours that, if redirected, could have significant compounding effects over time. I think that part was aimed at me back in the day. So one of the most practical examples I've seen involves delegating tasks. Wealthy people routinely outsource repetitive or low value tasks. This could be they hire a cleaner using an assistant for admin work or automating business processes. Every hour freed up is then invested into high impact areas, learning a skill, making strategic decisions, networking, or creating assets that generate returns. I've seen this principle in action at White Samurai. The COO, David Rains, he often emphasizes the idea that your time is the ultimate investment. Every decision should be evaluated for opportunity cost, the value of what else you could be doing with that time. Another key principle is structured daily routines. Wealthy people schedule their day intentionally. They block out time for personal development, exercise, strategic planning, and even reflection. Even leisure is intentional. It's not mindless. It's either rejuvenative to, is that even how you pronounce it? Rejuvenative. Anyways, it helps them to perform better or allows them to network and build relationships that can produce returns. So, in contrast to this, many middle class or broke individuals have fragmented schedules. They react to their day instead of planning it, which reduces overall effectiveness and slows down progress. Wealthy people prioritize learning and skill acquisition. Time spent reading books, watching educational content, attending seminars, engaging with mentors is considered an investment. Unlike middle class or broke individuals, this learning is not a hobby. It's a strategy to compound knowledge over time. Every hour invested in learning can create insights that lead to better financial decisions and smarter investments or business opportunities. And another critical difference is how wealthy people handle unpredictable, unproductive downtime. Middle class and broke individuals often view downtime as free time or to relax or escape, right? Often filling it with low value entertainment like certain apps that start with a T. Wealthy individuals may approach downtime differently. Reflection, strategic thinking, or even planning for the future. Even periods of rest are structured to maximize rejuvenation and efficiency. So the mindset is time is finite. How do I make every moment count? Wealthy people also leverage other people's time. They understand the exponential potential of delegating, hiring experts, and collaborating strategically. For an example, rather than spending hours learning a skill that they could outsource, they hire someone with expertise, freeing themselves to focus on areas where their unique skill generate higher returns. This is a concept called leverage, and it's one of the key reasons rich people can achieve outsized returns in the same 24 hours that everyone else has. So the view of time also influences long-term thinking and patience. wealthy individuals are willing to delay gratification because they know that compound results take time. They invest today with the understanding that growth might not be immediate, but it will multiply with returns that are significantly, might take over months or years. But middle class and broke mindsets, in contrast, often seek immediate payoff, which can lead to impulsive spending, chasing trends, and thinking short term that limits growth. So, lastly, wealthy people treat time as irreplaceable and non-renewable. They constantly evaluate whether their activities align with their goals. And at White Samurai, I have seen those who adopt this mindset not only increase their wealth faster, but also experience a higher sense of control and purpose in life. Time is, not something to be wasted. It's a tool and an investment, and also a resource that compounds when used strategically. So in practical terms, I can start applying these, you can start applying these principles today. So today you can try to track your time for a week and identify where it's wasted. You can try to delegate or automate low value tasks. You can try to block daily time for learning or strategic growth. You could evaluate every purchase, activity, and commitment for its return on time and value. You want to treat downtime intentionally, using reflection or strategic rest to recharge. You want to think long-term and embrace delayed gratification, knowing that compounding results come from consistent strategic use of your time. When I began applying these principles myself, I noticed a dramatic shift in productivity and results. So tasks that used to take a couple of hours were streamlined opportunities that I would have missed if I didn't do that. And I started to experience growth, not just financially, but mentally and strategically. So over time, time became an ally rather than an enemy. I had more time compared to time was slipping away from me. And this is exactly how wealthy individuals operate every single day. So that brings us to topic number 3. Why wealthy people avoid status purchases. Avoid why wealthy people avoid luxury purchases. So, why do they do that? When most people think of wealthy individuals, they think about 15 cars, 15 boats, 15 investment properties in 15 different countries. And they think of like all of these holidays, and you know, they're just like sitting around drinking a cocktail at the bar at their pool every day. But while some rich people do that, they are separated from the rest of us due to true wealth builders from the majority, which are not flashy possessions, but financial intelligence and strategic lifestyle choices. At White Samurai over this past year, I've seen countless of examples of individuals who appeared wealthy, but on the inside, they were financially trapped because of their obsession with looking like they had money. Actual people with actual wealth understand a simple truth. Status purchases rarely generate wealth. They often actively reduce it. And if you were to, let's say, purchase a handbag, it's like buying a new car, right? You buy a new car, and as soon as you drive it out of the dealership or the lot, it decreases in value straight away. So even if you wanted to purchase a car and resell it the same day, you're not gonna get the same amount of money back, let alone even more money. So status purchases are usually depreciating assets. So in other terms, a new car that you've just driven off the dealership lot is a depreciating asset. Things that lose value the moment that they're bought, a designer handbag, a luxury watch, or a high-end car, may make you feel successful, but financially, these items are liabilities. The rich understand that. The money spent on these items could instead be spent investing in assets that generate returns, such as stocks, real estate, or business ventures. There are several reasons why wealthy people consciously avoid status purchases. And when you think about it, when you see a lot of celebrities out in the public or statusly wealthy people that are socialites, they come from generational wealth, and you see them out in the public, obviously, number one, they're not wearing a full crazy get-up because they don't want to be spotted, but you actually don't really see them wearing a lot of different expensive purchases. That's exactly an example. So, number one, as to why wealthy people avoid status purchases. They generate depreciation and opportunity cost. Depreciate in value. So every dollar spent on a luxury item is a dollar that could have been invested in something that appreciates over time. A $100,000 luxury car today could have been invested in a portfolio that grows to $200,000 or more over the next 10 years. So wealthy people constantly are calculating the opportunity cost of their spending. Even items that seem small, like premium little knickknacks for your home or clothing, they are analysed for whether they provide, pardon me, it's been a long day. They are continuously analysed for whether they provide functional value or return on investment. So this mindset allows the rich to keep capital compounding instead of letting it evaporate through consumption. Number 2, psychological freedom from external validation. Freedom from validation. So, luxury purchases are often motivated by the desire to impress other people, mainly the middle class individuals and broke individuals use material possessions to signal success. Look at me, I'm doing so well, everyone. But that becomes a trap. Wealthy people rarely feel the need to prove themselves to anyone because they simply are. Confidence comes from financial security, knowledge, and influence, not from external validation. By avoiding the psychological trap of status signaling, the wealthy remain focused on long-term goals rather than short-term approval. Number 3, focus on functional and strategic spending. So when wealthy people spend, it's almost always functional rather than purely aesthetic. So an example would be a wealthy person may purchase a car because it's reliable and efficient and it fits their needs, but they don't purchase it because it will impress their neighbors. So clothing might also be high quality, but for durability or professional image rather than for your neighbor looking at it. And even luxury homes are often purchased strategically as an investment or for tax advantages, rather than just to say, look at me, I'm rich. Every expenditure is measured against a key question. Does this contribute to my wealth, my productivity, or my long-term goals? They maintain financial agility. So one of the biggest advantages wealthy people have is they have the ability to act quickly on opportunities. Excessive spending on status items can tie up immediate capital and reduce flexibility. So, for an example, if an investment opportunity arises, a person who has spent heavily on luxurious goods may not have the liquid capital, the immediate funds available to take advantage. So, by avoiding status purchases, wealthy people also maintain financial agility. So it allows them to seize opportunities that can multiply their wealth exponentially. Number 5, avoiding lifestyle inflation. So lifestyle inflation is one of the biggest traps for middle class earners. As income increases, spending on status items often increase at the same rate or sometimes even a lot faster. So this prevents even further real wealth accumulation. Wealthy people consciously resist lifestyle inflation. They maintain a level of spending that allows them to continue investing and building wealth even as their income grows. So this is why many billionaires relatively. This is why many billionaires live relatively modest lifestyles compared to their net worth. So by controlling lifestyle inflation, the wealthy ensure their wealth compounds consistently over time. Number 6, long-term perspective. Wealthy people have long-term view. Status items are often gratifying in the moment, but provide no future value. Wealthy individuals are willing to delay gratification and focus on investments and assets that grow over years and decades. The decision to skip an expensive watch or a flashy car or some designer clothes may mean the difference between financial freedom in 10 years versus financial stress. They understand compounding effect of small choices repeated over time. Number 7, wealth as an identity, not appearance. Wealth as identity, not appearance. So another key insight that I've observed over the last year working at White Samurai is that the rich see wealth as an identity, not as a public display. So they measure success by the strength of their financial position, not by what other people think. This is why some of the wealthiest people you'll meet dress simply. They drive cars like the rest of us drive, and they live in understated homes. That's also a big one. They're among us. They are focused on preserving wealth. They're focused on building and preserving wealth, but not on creating an illusion of wealth. Number 8, teaching financial literacy and modeling behavior. So avoiding status purchases also allows wealthy people to teach and model disciplined financial behavior for their families or teams. They demonstrate that wealth is built through careful planning, investing, and strategic risk-taking rather than consumption. Over time, these lessons compound, creating generational advantages that go far beyond material possessions. Number 9, protecting against social pressure. So middle class and broke mindsets often fall into the trap of peer pressure. I know I have. Wanting to keep up with their friends. Maybe one of your friends is a content creator / an influencer, and they are always receiving new clothes and things left, right, and center. And whenever you hang out with them, you feel like you have to do the same. That's peer pressure. The wealthy are insulated from these pressures. They understand true financial security comes from control over resources and time and opportunities, not from social comparison. By avoiding status purchases, they reduce exposure to judgment or competition that could possibly influence impulsive decisions. So, number 10, the ripple effect of wealth habits. So, every decision to avoid unnecessary consumption reinforces wealth habits. Money can be invested, time spent on strategic projects that create opportunities, and discipline in spending builds resilience. So over years, these small conscious decisions compound into enormous advantages. The same principle that governs investment growth applies to lifestyle choices as well. In practice, this doesn't mean wealthy people never enjoy luxury. It means that they prioritize purpose and impact over appearance. So, as an example, a wealthy individual may buy a high quality home that appreciates, or a reliable car that saves maintenance costs over time, but they won't buy something just for purely status purposes. So every purchase is strategic, intentional, and aligned with long-term goals. In contrast to this, middle class and broke individuals often buy for immediate satisfaction or social recognition, creating cycles of debt and stress and stagnation. The wealthy people recognize that the cost of status purchases is not just financial, it's also mental, social, and opportunity related. By avoiding these traps, they maintain focus, financial control, and the freedom to act strategically. So the lesson here is simple. Wealth isn't built by spending to impress. It's built by spending to invest, to leverage, and to grow. Every dollar saved, every purchase deferred, every moment of restraint compounds into opportunities for wealth, freedom, and security. So, adopting this mindset is a fundamental shift for middle class or broke habits, and is one of the most critical steps to achieving long-term financial freedom. So, if you want to start aligning your mindset and lifestyle with the wealthy, White Samurai Investment Group can help. Our team, including the CIO, they provide tools, guidance, strategies that you need to build wealth, to think strategically about time and money, and avoid costly mistakes that hold most people back. Whether you're just starting or you're wanting to level up your financial identity, White Samurai are here to help you take action and apply what you learn. So, to summarize everything that we have explored, the core principles of wealth identity and lifestyle, and the difference between broke, middle class, and rich mindsets, the most important takeaway is that wealth is a first mindset, then a set of habits, and only after that, a number in your bank account. People with broke mindsets often prioritize instant gratification and external validation, which keeps them trapped in cycles of spending and debt. Middle class individuals focus on security and stability, which provides them comfort but limits wealth building. And in contrast, rich mindset prioritizes long-term planning, strategic decision making, and value creation to allow wealth to grow and compound over time. So, let me just say, prioritize value, return on investment, information plus decisions. We also discussed how wealthy people view time as their most valuable resource. Most valuable is time. So every hour is evaluated for impact or leverage or opportunity. Wealthy individuals delegate, automate, and strategically invest their time into learning, networking, and income generating activities. This mindset also allows them to create exponential results that middle class or broke mindsets rarely achieve. And finally, we also covered why wealthy people avoid status purchases. They focus on investments, functional spending, and preserving financial agility rather than impressing others. Every decision is deliberate, reinforcing habits that compound into long-term freedom and control. By understanding these principles, you can begin to align your mindset, actions, and lifestyle with wealth building strategies, ultimately putting yourself onto a path of financial freedom, stability, and strategic growth. So I just want to thank you for watching this video, and if you made it this far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel where we discuss topics on financial freedom. And please check out White Samurai Investment Group for all of your nitty-gritty questions and queries, or you can comment or message me, and myself or the team will do our best to help. Thank you. And I'll also include this if you want to take a photo. There we go. Okay, bye.